lucky group of seekers. We've come together to celebrate with wild wonder what Ross Gay writes about as the luminous mycelial tethers between us, our fundamental connection to one another, the raft through the sorrow, the holding through the grief. Joy reminds us again and again that we belong not to an institution or to a party or to a state or a market, but to each other. Needfully so. We must practice and study and sing and story and dream and celebrate, belonging to each other as though our lives depend on it. One way that we at Namaqua honor the way we belong to each other is through our congregational affirmation. I invite you to say it with me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I'm joined today leading the service by a number of incredible people: Reverend Dana Lightsey, Vicki Clark, Meg, Ryan, our tech team. The choir is singing today. It's a little bit of us, but it's more important that you get to know each other. Can you turn this morning, greet the people around you with a hug, a handshake, or a high five saying good morning?
Everybody sing. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. If only I could heal your sorrow, shine on me again. I'd help you to find your new tomorrow. Shine on me again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Only you can climb that mountain, shine on me again. If you want to drink at the golden fountain, shine on me again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Big finale. Weave, weave, weave me
morning. My name is Vicki Clark, still. As your worship associate today, Claire invited me to consider a challenge.
Imagine if.
Imagine if.
Imagine if.
Imagine if.
Imagine if.
And now, like a field full of fireflies, and you don't have to do this all at once at the same time, but would you just whisper that over and over and over?
Imagine in this very room, there's quite enough hope for all of us.
From one of John Denver's songs, that's one of my favorite, come these words, and I had no idea how appropriate they'd be on this particular day. Imagine a month of Sundays, each one a cloudy day. Imagine the moment the sun came shining through. Imagine that ray of sunshine as you. I'm going to share with you just a tiny sampling of concrete ways that the power of your imagination has come to fruition in this sacred space. Someone imagined that we needed a chalice when we moved in here, and voila, we were gifted with one from our sister congregation, Foothills UU in Fort Collins. Someone imagined a special place to position our chalice, and behold, Way Christensen created a piece of art in the form of a beautiful table.
Imagine in this very room that there's quite enough joy for all of us.
Someone imagined a place here at Namaqua where members and friends could share their creativity and their art and make our white walls a little more attractive. And abracadabra, the art nook in the back, was born. You're welcome. At different times, people imagined and imagined and imagined screens in our sacred space as another way to expand our creativity as well as utility. And then along came Dana Lightsey, and she taught us how to project words on that screen that we could actually read.
Imagine in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us.
Someone imagined that Namaqua might be a fertile ground for an intern minister. And blessed be, Dr. Claire Hemmer came into our midst. What do you imagine for this sacred space and beyond for our beloved community? As Claire lights this chalice, I was going to say for the last time in this space.
I can put it that way.
I wanted you to whisper again, imagine if, imagine if, imagine if, imagine if, imagine if. Our imaginations are powerful. Let us turn the world around as we shape that which is worthy.
Today's Time for All Ages is the first Time for All Ages I had with you all 2 years ago. I was in a hotel room in Sedona on a trip, and I shared Where the Wild Things Are. I think this is one of the most profound children's books there is. Where the Wild Things Are. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind. There he is, nailing something into a wall that definitely shouldn't be there. And another, there he is chasing the dog around with a fork, who looks pretty terrified. His mother called him, "Wild thing!" Can you give it back to me? Wild thing! You could get meaner than that. Wild thing! And Max said, "I'll eat you up!" 2 years, 2 years. And Max said, "I'll eat you up!" I'll eat you up! So he was sent to bed without eating anything. And there he is, alone in his room, looking awfully sad. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew. Can you take your hands like a little seed and just take them up to create a beautiful forest, looking around you? And it grew, keep them growing, and grew until the ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. Take a look at the people next to you. Take a look at these forests growing around you. And now take those and turn them into an ocean. The ocean that tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day, and in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And there he is on the boat, looking at this enormous sea creature Wild Thing right in his eyes. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars. 10 out of 10. Gnashed their terrible teeth. And rolled their terrible eyes. And showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still." And tamed them with the magic trick of looking into their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened of him. And they called him the most wild thing of all. And they made him king of the wild things. On the way in, you received a gold crown. Don't put it on yet. Can you turn to the person next to you, and you're going to crown them king or queen of the wild things. Let's do that first crowning. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And when you're ready, go ahead and crown your partner. Give the other one their crown. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. And the first thing that we're doing is they're reaching up for the moon. Can we dance reaching up for the moon in our seat? We're reaching up for the moon. They're reaching up for the moon. And then they're swinging from trees. Can you swing your shoulders like you're swinging from trees? We're swinging, we're swinging, we're swinging, we're swinging. And then they're making a conga line. Can you make a little conga line in your pew with the people around you? Now stop, said Max. And he sent the wild things off to bed without supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely. And he wanted to be somewhere where someone loved him best of all. Then around from far away across the world He smelled good things to eat. Take a big breath and let it go. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars. And they gnashed their terrible teeth. And they rolled their terrible eyes. And they showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. You take your hand up to wave. And turn those hands back into the ocean, where he sailed back over a year, and in and out of weeks, and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. Let's take a big breath in and let it go. And I invite you into a space of meditation here. If that crown feels good on your head, keep it on. If it doesn't, you could take it off. But I invite you to let your eyes be closed or to look down. To find your body in a position that feels comfortable for you. And let's begin by taking a big breath in and letting it go. And another big breath in and letting it go. And one more, breathing all the way down to your toes, letting them root into the ground. Hold on to it and let it go. And in this space of calm, in this space of deep peace, I just want to invite this poem. David White writes, "Someone I have been, and someone I am just about to become. Something I am and will be forever. The sheer generosity of being loved through loving, the miracle reflection of a twice blessed life." And with your eyes closed in that space, I just invite you to bring up a memory of a time that you were loved through loving. Take a moment to just sit with the first memory that comes up, with the first person's face that's there, seeing you. Their eyes looking into yours, showing you what it feels like to be loved so deeply for who you are. And if it feels good, reach out to touch their face, letting your hand rest on their cheek or their chin. Feeling the wrinkles around their eyes, maybe their hair or the corner of their ear. Letting your thumb caress their forehead and their nose, down their cheek. Just taking a moment to feel their face, to feel what it is for them to look so deeply into you with love. I invite you to bring your hand to your face, also to feel what it is to be loved, maybe letting your fingertips touch your cheek or your jaw, and to recall what your face was doing in that beautiful moment. And to just be in the presence of being loved into loving. And when you're ready, I invite you to let your hand drop and to sit with that beautiful moment, that beautiful connection on the wings of this music.
kind friends all gather round. There's something I would say, that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain and learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. Like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. So give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is born in fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need. And love comes when you're ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It'll be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. So give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
I invite any young people who are joining for religious education to meet Janet Wright in the back of church now. I grew up knowing without the shadow of a doubt that I would be a Catholic priest. The robes, the incense, the magic, the choreography, my imagination was captivated. The singular power, the clarity, being a leader in the one true religion. My mother still proudly shows off baby Claire's artwork declaring my commitment to become the first American pope. I also grew up knowing without the shadow of a doubt that my mom's mom, among many other amazing people, loved me very deeply. Rosemary was a conservative Catholic mother of 10 who raised a family through abject poverty. The story goes that my grandfather was a carpenter, and because of that, he was able to buy a hearse on the cheap, which he retrofitted with wooden benches so the whole family could make their way to church on Sundays. They had an unwavering commitment to Catholicism, a commitment that meant that my grandmother saw me as the priest my family never had. And so did my other grandmother, and so did my mother, and so did I. When my grandmother was dying in the hospital, I remember going to see her late in the evening. I was in 3rd grade, and I was small enough to cuddle inside that narrow bed beside her. And I remember her asking me when the priest was coming. She was halfway between this world and the next. My grandfather and all of her children gathered around the next day to say goodbye. And after some jokes and memories and prayers, they knew she was ready to let go, but she didn't. Not until later that afternoon when the priest arrived. The moment he walked in the door, he turned to her and said, "Hello, Rosemary," and she let go. And the alarms beeped, and the priest prayed, and my family held hands, and then she was gone. I wanted to be that man who had so much power in this world and in the world to come. That's the kind of power my grandmother saw in me. That's the power my mother thought I was going to wield in the world. I felt called to a practice of surety, to that illustrious role that required robes and incense and magic and choreography, because I used to think that that was the best way to be alive. It wasn't until high school, when I had a Franciscan nun bristle at my calling, I'll never forget, she said to me, "Don't throw your life away on the priesthood." She said, "The world is so much bigger and wilder than that." In that moment, in an instant, a part of my heart heard something that made me so uncomfortable, so unsure, so akimbo that I knew it had to be the truth. So I left my search for self-righteousness behind, and I took a trip to where the wild things are. My first Sunday with UUs in Bloomington, Indiana, was called "Why I'm a Socialist." My imagination exploded. I was giddy to go every Sunday morning. I learned what justice and mercy look like in that congregation. And after teaching Ari and doing all the church things, I asked to write and direct a children's musical. It was an opera, really, and we hired a professional composer, and we explored creation stories from around the world. Parents and children and elders and friends came together to support the work, and we made a community. And in the end, it was wild. Dozens of children in white linen outfits danced and sang with giant puppets while a quartet played, and the congregation cried because we made something magical together. We found power in the joy of creating beloved community. And my family came, but they didn't know what was happening. Where was the priest and the robes and the direct line to a God we trusted enough to kill his own kid? Where was the righteous knowing that one of the creation stories was the one, the true one? The world is so much bigger and wilder than that. And so is my ministry, which is alive and growing through justice and joy. Making meaning in cozy churches and in cold prisons, on stages built in gyms and workshops in conference rooms, in visits to the ER and in the tender earth of a cemetery. You have shown me the power of being seen as a minister in beloved community. Not because of power I wield or even robes dancing around my feet. We could have drag queen story hour. You help me realize how deeply relational ministry is. You've shown me the power of being a minister when you're hurting and lonely and conflicted, and when you're in grief that feels like it's never going to end. And the depths of those moments have helped me to live into the effervescent joy of this life, of the collective power of witnessing and worshiping and wondering together. You've made space for me to come alongside you, to companion and care for you. And through it all, you've welcomed me back to this pulpit again and again, so that I might tell you about my growing and my grief within these rhizomatic communities, so that I could tell you about my ministry. But the truth is, while I've been talking to you, I've been talking to myself at the same time. I've been processing and metabolizing and hoping and healing right alongside you. I've been living into my commitment to wild wonder and to deep care with you. I've been learning what it means to be loved through loving. Our 2 years together have profoundly changed me because you loved me into loving, because you saw me into seeing. I realize the look I've seen in your eyes is the look that I grew up with. I saw it in so many family members' faces, but my grandmother's and my grandfather's the most. It's the one that showed me how deeply I was loved. The one that told me about the kind of work I'm going to do in this world. For them, it was one that was rooted in a theology of power over. It was rooted in the seer's dreams. But for the past 2 years, I have been blessed to experience the look in the eyes of grandmothers and grandfathers, of moms and dads and friends and newcomers alike, looking back at me with wild knowing that you see me for who I am today, not for who you long for me to be. Your looking has welcomed me home to myself. And these new looks remind me of the power that comes from letting go of old ones. In letting go of those singular hopes which were hoped upon me, I've fallen in love, learning about the profoundly wild life I want to live. I want to sing in the dark times and dance with rooms full of men who don't know how. I want to dream at the bedside and find new ways to live into beloved community. I want to doubt as a way into knowing and sit with the hard stuff. I want to create justice and joy in abundance because that is really the best way to be alive. That's the deep love that I have to offer. That's the power of being in this fantastic moment right now. And although I'm leaving, I know life's most amazing journeys are wild and wondrous circles. I'll be seeing you.
I know, you thought you were
I
done.
thought it was over.
So, my friend, I have news for you. That power that you were talking about, that you wanted to have as a priest, you have it. All right, everybody take a nice breath. You have sung the life back into this congregation. You have brought this congregation back to life. Am I right? Yes. Through your creativity and through your brilliance, but mostly for risking and being vulnerable, going into having an open heart, a courageous and open heart. Am I right? Just checking. So ministry is a wild adventure, is it not?
Yeah.
A bit of a wild rumpus, really. And you have journeyed off through night and day and up and down I-25 and in and out of 2 years and your whole wild self, and tamed this congregation and tamed us by never looking away, even when things were monstrous or just hard. I know y'all feel like I do right now, so pardon me if I take a few extra breaths. You have broken open our hearts. And with all of your blessed stories and all through the rumpus, we have all grown. You were never ours to keep. We know that. Nonetheless, we too are saying, oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so. But of course, we know it is time for you to travel again, in and out of day and night and down I-25 to your own home, where there is food on the table and love to surround you. Just know that there is also always food on the table here and love to surround you here. My friend, there is no doubt in my mind that you were born to be a minister or a priest or whatever you want to call it. You knew this, your family knew this, and we know this. And we bless you with the affirmation of that truth. When I arrived here 7 months ago and experienced you as the minister of this congregation, I never once felt like you were anything less than a master of your craft already. Your competence and brilliance led me to forget that our relationship was one of intern and supervisor, but rather colleagues, sharing and learning from each other. Thank you for that. Out of all your gifts, I think your most amazing gift as a minister is your self-awareness and your ability to set your ego aside and to open your heart and to be vulnerable. This will always be a blessing for your ministry. And let all of us acknowledge and give thanks for all of the ways that you serve this congregation with grace and humor and wisdom, and most especially love. Have you felt loved by Claire? Yes. Yes. In ministry, during its difficult, challenging times, with no other minister here for about 6 months, you held this congregation together. And you blessed this congregation And like I said, you sang their song back to them so they could remember who they are. Your friend the nun was right, however. Just saying. Don't throw away your life trying to fit into any box or any definition. The world is so much bigger and wilder than being a priest or even a UU minister. Just saying. The structure of institutions should serve you on your path, not get in your way or hold you back. So we bless you as you do what is best for you. You know how to live powerfully into your greatest gifts and your brilliance. You know how to do this. So now is the time to just let it go and go for it. And even from a distance, even from our own shore, as we're gnashing our teeth, we're cheering you on. So as hard as it is to say goodbye, let today be a launching party to wherever you set your sails next. We know that for a year or so we will be out of touch. I know, there's that rule again. Yes, we'll be out of touch for about a year, but as much as we may hate this rule, let us acknowledge that it is important to give you the space to integrate your experiences with us and for you to move on. And things have a way of circling back around again, do they not? You know your way here. You know that drive up I-25. So we all hope you'll venture back this way to visit in a year or so. We love you.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Claire's supervisor was Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry. She is the senior minister at Boulder Valley UU Fellowship, just down the road a piece. She recorded a few words to share, and here's the video that she sent to us.
Morning, Namakwa. I'm the Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry. I'm the minister of the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and I use she, her pronouns. And I had the honor of being the supervisor for Claire during that period between when Reverend Laurel left and when Reverend Dana arrived. And I just am here knowing this is a milestone Sunday when Claire will be leaving you. Claire, I just wanted to note what an extraordinary internship you had, quite unique, and also how extraordinarily well you managed during that time. And I want to just wish you well in your future endeavors and do hope that we stay in touch over the course of many years. And Namakwa, blessings to you as you also are moving forward with a new ministry. And my gratitude for all of you in this ministry.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. And now, it'll take us a moment or two. I would like to introduce a very special guest that we haven't seen for a while. Namakwa's very own Minister Emerita, Reverend Laurel Liefert, joining us by Zoom. Hello.
I've watched this whole service and it really affirms what I always thought, which is that you are such a wonderful teaching congregation. The fact that you allowed Claire to be seen as a minister is the greatest gift that you can give to someone in formation, but he already was formed. I'm thinking back, Claire, to our first conversation with Doug Stewart when we were interviewing you, and you used the phrase effervescent joy. I remember I said it was like we were in champagne. There were just bubbles of joy, of golden bubbles. And I don't know if I believe that things are sometimes destined to be, but I always felt a sense of destiny when I became Namaqua's minister. And when you became Namaqua's first intern, there was that same feeling of it, you know, being meant to be, like a godsend or a goddess send. Dana, I want to thank you for how generous you've been in inviting me today to say hello to a congregation that will always be dear in my heart. You can imagine when I received the Valentines, the tears of joy that I wept as I read your love notes. And I want to say one thing, which is that some of you expressed in a very tender, moving way that falling in love with Dana or with Claire was somehow being unfaithful to me. As you know, Lydia, my friend and colleague who you just saw the video of, we were talking about this and she calls it minister polyamory. You can love more than one minister. And Claire, I think that is one of the gifts that you gave during my last year at Namaqua. Clearly, people fell in love with you and you showed them a different kind of ministry, a different kind of presence. You also were a rock for me during what was a very paradoxical year, one of tremendous celebration of our 11 years together, but also the hardship of my being suspended from the UMA, which I know Dana told you I'm back in good graces.
Yay.
And it's been almost exactly a year. Next weekend will be the 1-year anniversary of my last weekend with you. And Claire, I think one of the quintessential gifts that you gave to me and to the congregation was the sending off service that you did on that Friday evening. And my body still feels the touch and the affirmation as people surrounded me and said goodbye to me. And just last night, I was at the retirement party of Stefan Schneider. And you may remember, those of you who were at the last service, that Stefan kind of bookended my ministry because he and our singing group sang "Everything is Holy Now" and love ye one another" at both my installation and then at the last service last year on June 12th. And Claire, you know, you and I talked for every week for over a year. And one of the things that you shared with me was often your prison ministry. And something that still sticks with me is how you were with the men in the prison, is that the way you showed that you love them is by showing up. And the way that you have loved Namaqua is by showing up. And as Dana said, I think she didn't use the term transparency, but your vulnerability and showing up as exactly who you are gives all of us permission to show up exactly as we are and to know that we are lovable. So the way that you have loved the congregation, and congregation, the way that you have loved Claire, the way that you loved me, the way that you loved Dana, the way that you will love whatever minister comes next is your greatest gift. So I don't know when I can start seeing you again, but I really look forward to perhaps welcoming some of you into Francie's in my home. Francie's here as well. We're doing well. Our son Marcus was just called to be the minister of the First Unitarian Church in Berkeley. And we will be members there with our grandson Henry. And you know, I just want to end by saying how we always ended. It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. What you know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty you love be what you do, and you don't have to do it alone. So I love you so much. And thanks again, Dana, for letting me do this. And Claire, you're my man. Thank you.
You're with us, Laurel. Thank you. And now I would like to invite the co-chairs for our intern committee, Rebecca Williamson and Mickey McGuire, to please come forward.
And we'd like to invite the rest of the intern committee to come forward with us.
I'm still imagining chairs so that we can open up this aisle and get real chairs down here.
Claire started as our intern minister, Reverend Laurel actually formed an internship committee. We're all standing here before you to help Claire navigate our church and ensure he completed 7 core competencies laid out by the UUA Ministerial Intern Program. Rebecca and I co-chaired this internship committee that was also comprised of Linda Bell, Kathy Hartman, Carol Barton, Brenda Christensen, and Jim Danforth. Jim actually we replaced Chad Escalier, who served the first year before he went off and moved to California. Basically, we held confidential meetings with Claire monthly over the 2-year period. And during these meetings with Claire was able to share his insights and concerns with us, and we were able to provide guidance and answer questions as needed, while also focusing on these 7 competencies. As you can imagine, this was not hard work. Claire has been wonderful to work with and often provided more counsel to us than we were giving to him, as you can imagine. He approached challenges such as working in a COVID environment. We seem to have forgotten some of this, haven't we? Claire came on in the middle of COVID, really helped us get Zoom going and brought new special talents to that. He filled in when we didn't have a minister, as you've just heard. And you may not know this, but he wrote a very moving, meaningful letter to the UUA Ministerial Council that ended up suspending Laurel. He did all this with grace and dignity. He brought his own special talents, as you saw this morning, to the congregation as we experienced through numerous services he led, way above what anybody ever expected. Our committee recently sent a report to the UUA internship program certifying that Claire more than exceeded accomplishments in all 7 competencies while doing so much more for our congregation.
So at this time, Claire, since you've shared so many of your gifts with the congregation and you've brought us so much joy and so much love, we would like to present a special gift to you from the congregation. And so would Sally Henry, there she is, and Von Zdenek, would you come up please, and Claire? Yeah, why? Yeah, okay. Who is
Claire, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay, let me come up. Okay, Claire, on behalf of the congregation, I don't think I can do this. People have been telling me for the past couple of weeks that they couldn't do it, and I thought, I've been an educator, I can't do this. Claire, your reflections were so thoughtful, your meditations so peaceful, your love so encompassing. We couldn't have done it without you. All of our ups and downs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. When your banishment is over, come back here to where the wild things love you so much. A tangible measure of appreciation was performed by our own Vaughn Zdenek. Vaughn, with the assistance of our Trish Murtha and Kathy Hartman, has made this on behalf of every one of us. We give it to you with love and we hope with joy. However you may use it, may it hold you and warm you and remind you of how much we love you. And who's next? Dana's next.
And intern committee, please stay up here if you would.
Do you want to go ahead and come on back? Choir to come up now. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because we're going to do laying on of hands and you can reach around and put your hand on these. Okay. Claire, I'd like you to stand right here, please. Oh, I'm almost tall enough there. Okay, good. Intern committee, yeah, choir, go ahead and woo, come on up. Yeah, right in here would be perfect. Thanks for adjusting. And intern committee, if you would come surround Claire, please. I don't know if you know this about Claire, but he's already an ordained minister. Did you know that? He was ordained in the interfaith tradition at First Unitarian in New York. Yeah. Correct? All Souls. All Souls. All Souls Unitarian. And being presented with a stole is something that is typically done at an ordination or an installation ceremony. It is a way of saying, we see you, We acknowledge you for the minister that you are. May this be a blessing and an affirmation of that truth, always. Today, it is with great gutsy gusto that we affirm your ministry in the whole world with this stole and by blessing you with the ceremony of laying on of hands. You have a congregation here of grandparents and parents and friends who love you as a part of your family. As we send you off, the last thing that we can do is bless you with our love and our best wishes. So I invite our intern committee to begin by putting your hand or a hand on your shoulders or your arms maybe, head. And then I invite the choir to, I think I'll stay right here. Oh, but there we go. To come on up and put your hand on someone who is putting their hand on Claire. And now I invite all of us to stand. Those of you in the balcony, feel free to come down and join us. I invite you to either come forward or reach across the pew and touch someone who is touching Claire. You've got Brenda right here. Good. So we are touching Claire in an intricate web, just like the roots of a tree, the roots of a powerful tree, the tree of Namakwa Unitarian Universalist. And those of you on Zoom, I invite you to hold out your hands as though you are connecting with each other and with us from your windows. My friend, you have nurtured and cared for us, this congregation, for the past 2 years. Now, like a strong taproot from a tree, we will always be connected. We will always be blessed. We will always be blessed. We will always be blessing you with our own love and our care. You are a part of us, and we are a part of you. And this is a blessing you will carry with you for the rest of your life. So, my friends, let us take a breath in and let it go. And as we take 3 more breaths together, you're going to breathe in gratitude for Claire and breathe out and radiate, send him your love and blessings. Okay, breathing in and love and blessings, breathing out. Again, breathing in, sending love and blessings. And one more anointing of love and blessings, breathing in and breathing out, love and blessings. Whatever life brings, may you always be blessed by the beauty of life and the courageous love that brings us all together and heals the world through your hands. May it be so. Amen.
Ross Gay writes, "You could maybe imagine that my eyes filled up, looking back on what we had been dreaming together, and why I was having that feeling again that I find myself describing as thousands of birds taking flight in my chest, which means, I think, the long and beautiful breaking into something more." All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rose through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, and I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, the years keep rolling by. All my life's a circle.
Nothing is fixed forever and forever and forever. It is not fixed. The earth is always shifting. The light is always changing. The sea does not cease to grind down the rock. Generations do not cease to be born. And we are responsible to them because we are only witnesses they have. The sea rises and the light fails. Lovers cling to each other and children cling to us. The moment we cease to hold on to each other, the sea engulfs us and the light goes out. May we continue to hold on. We are never alone.